Glitch, internet favorite indie animation studio, founded by Kevin and Luke. I'm not about to try. Shout out SMG4, of course. Despite the internet's corny allegation, those two are absolute legends. And they worked and helped in the making of many web series, such as Murder Drones or even Meta Runners, but your kids know none about that. What you may know though is this one. The 14th of October 2023, Glitch Studio posted a pilot for a show named The Amazing Digital Circus. I did not watch the show. I did not watch the show! I'm sorry. It's mainly due to the fact that I just don't like having to wait huge amount of time for the next episode. I probably will binge the show at some point. But what I realized from afar is that the premises of the show is kinda dark. Humans' mind trapped by machine, going through unwanted adventure, praying that they will not turn into whatever that is. You realize that it is the perfect ground to make alternative universe, with more dark and or mature themes. And when you combine that with fandom culture that love to champion artists, also harass them, that stuff, you end up with really interesting web series. I got two today. One by DuffyFilmz, I think you know that one, and the other by NikoNeko. Let's
do this.
Chill. Before going forward, just drop a sub real quick and check my coffee too while you're at it. It feels like we are attacking a monument today. This was basically patient zero. DuffyFilmz Circus is a 3D animated series about a new alternative universe of the digital circus. This series takes inspiration from early 3D rendering, oral literature, modern horror, and the Bible, man, to create something that I would say is disturbing. I got 8 episodes for you. That's about to be long, so let's just not waste no time. 2 really short episodes. In All God, we can see Kane's model on his knees, eyeless and I will guess lifeless. In between, we can see images of the cast smiling. I mean, most of them at least. Jester, Jack, Jangle, Annie, Nullbull, and Craner. In the canon, this is pretty huge. Kane is the program that basically decides of their adventure and control the world that they live, as they are trapped in the circus. We are witnessing the death of the god of this world, the old god, like the title says, which might imply that there is a new one. But also with how the sky looks, I think this can only be a bad omen. No, but now the thing is that he's god, so nobody can kill him. Did he? In Cycle, we see the crew doing the casual stuff that they do in the circus. And also that's for later. I want to point out this scene between Null and Kane. Zubul is the most outspoken when it comes to criticizing Kane. What if in this alternate universe, after all the criticism, he decided to just go? It may be that, and just the negativity around, that led him to... The video ends with the jester looking down at Annie breaking down, and as I'm not that in, can she do that? It is a bit early to theorize whatever, but I think the jester is a bad guy, guys. Maybe it's because I saw the teaser too, but anyway. This episode starts with Jangle wandering around the circus. She was looking for Null, and they start discussing. We understand that the situation became worse after the death of Kane, to the point where Null misses him. She also confirms the theory that her remarks led to the end of Kane. On the side of Jangle, what I understand is that she's getting bullied. I will guess by Jack. Null remarks that he acts like nothing has changed. That's how I know it's him, because he always been a dick. Apparently, I'm laughing, I didn't watch the show. And Jangle mentioned that it was alright this time because she was not there. There's 4 she in this show. Remove them too, then it's either Annie or the ominous looking jester of despair. Null explained that she wanted calm and to be alone because she feels like everything is her fault. kind of out of character. That's weird. It's also not fair. This is an alternate universe, so it may be a bit different from the canon, but everyone was kinda sick of Kane's shit. But anyway, looks like Null was hurt by that one. If you got scared by that one, you just caught on Candy Mate. That's not my fault. She walks back in her room and oh God. We're on YouTube, we're not doing that. Nullball attempts to leave this plane of existence, I would say, in a pretty disturbing scene, I'm gonna be honest. But in vain, as the jester said, you cannot die. Yeah, okay, guys. I think that Pomni is the new god. Yeah, I think that's the idea. Something that I find weird is the way Pomni talks. Precisely her captions. Everybody have a color assigned to them, while her captions can just change color. It's weird because you got Django saying things just out of pocket, and right after that, in the dark, if you increase the exposition, you can see the gesture. Is it possible that it represents her listening to their discussion? Yes, but what if she had the possibility to manipulate their mind to some extent? It will place her above Kane, as he himself stated it's impossible for him to control their mind. It could be a way to pose her as a threat basically, but it is more likely that she was just listening, and Jungle is just becoming more bipolar. I can't really blame her, to be fair. I'm doing my best trying to make that motherfucker look scary, but we're gonna talk about it later. The video starts with Jack, well, bullying Jungle, and they are interrupted by Honey. This nigga really a dick, bro. Jack went on walking around the circus, while a flashback of him checking on Null plays on. In the OG show, Jack's character evolved throughout the series, but one defined aspect is that he's kind of selfish, he's kind of a dick. In opposition here, he seems to care to some extent. He's pretending that everything is fine, but he's clearly troubled, and there is more trouble coming his way. The jester explained that she made this environment by herself, something which took her days. That's something weird. On one side, it shows some level of incompetency. She cannot fulfill the job that Kane did, which actually makes sense. But on the other hand, how is she torturing them guys if she can't even make just a path? Maybe she is just a sadic and is just better at that, but it's a bit weird for me. I will note that somewhere. But now she got a question for Jack. I still don't know what those glitch means, but I can guess it's painful. I think at this point we have a main picture of this whole shit show. Kane died. After he died, the jester took control over the circus. Don't know how yet. And she completely lost her mind. She went on some sort of power trip and is now torturing the other cast members. The character of Pomni in the OG series is tossed in an unknown world where she has no control. This alternative universe is a play on this, I would guess, giving her power and making her over-controlling. She seems obsessed with order and rules, like she got a desire of everything being at their place, maybe to counterbalance the lack of control that she felt at the start. This characterization kinda makes sense, but why she out there torturing them guys? In the OG show, she grew to understand that everybody in the circus has to deal with whatever that is, and it's also a lot for them. So seeing her acting like that it just got me questioned. A lot of this might be explained by the alternate universe format, but it's always a bit odd to have a character you know act in a way that is out of the character, without justifiable reason yet. Which led me to theorize something, but I will keep that for later. The title can be translated as Fear of Heaven or Fear of the Sky. The video starts with a Bible verse, Matthew 28:20, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you, and surely I am with you always to the very end of age. Crowner is under a tree in a digital world, experimenting the environment until a fall on his head. Then there's this sequence with two holograms, one of a man and the other of a woman. Note that the woman is in red. All of a sudden, this little garden turned into hell, and an abstraction came out of the bloody water. I realized that I didn't explain that yet, but in the digital circus, you can abstract, a phenomenon where you turn into a corruption. For whatever reason, I don't know, I'm laughing! It is then followed by Crowner straight up twerking, followed by a cipher that reads, God my heaven, God my hell, God my truth, God reborn. Crowner woke up in a lightly dimmed liminal space, where he finds what rest of Annie. A small detail is that Kinger in the OG show is kind of a nut job, and is only really aware in the dark. So this whole environment is mental warfare basically. We're seeing a flashback of their adventures, references to the real circus and the real episodes, and we understand that Crowner really cares for Annie, especially. Though in the middle of the flashback, it is revealed that Annie started being on YouTube. I guess it's after Kane's death. She pushes away Crowner, probably ashamed of herself. That's just kind of disheartening. He explores the place, finds a light source on Jack's body, and then walks a room full of petrified jungle. This show is like visually striking. I got a lot to say about the jester. I'm gonna be so sorry. But let's keep it to the conclusion. I think something more interesting to get out of this episode is Crowner's backstory. The first part of this episode was a parody of Eden's Garden. The bitten apple, the wife being in red as if she sinned, which probably refers to her abstracting. Their paradise has been compromised, and this abstraction was probably her. That is what the jester is referencing. Also, with all that Adam and Eve references, we can guess that those two were the first to live in the circus. Also, something weird is that this whole episode is supposedly presented by CA, so that's the company that made the circus in real life. But I guess that's more for aesthetic, but if it's not, that raises a lot of questions. I'm not doing that. Django drank the stupid sauce despite Null and Jack telling her not to do so. Then she started killing. The sauce made her hallucinate, and she thought those two were monsters. I don't even know if that episode is canon, but honestly, that was an entertaining watch. I will say that. But now it's been 6 episodes and the plot didn't move yet. What I could get out of this episode, if canon, is that Django's personality and mental state can only be getting worse. Another episode I'm not about to get a lot into, cause at this point it will be like theory slinging left and right. It's a funny episode where a supposed CA worker tests Kane's generative ability. A lot happened, but I want to focus on test 3, a friend. This is where he creates the bubble nigga, I forgot his name, I'm not about to search. It's really cool redesign and all, but what marked me is the text that follows. After many attempts, we were unable to delete the NPC Bubble. Fuck, is his name just Bubble? Fuck. It was not until later that we realized that the NPC was connected to Kane, which is directly connected to the program's main code. Deleting Kane will completely corrupt the program. What? Kane's deletion will mean the corruption of the whole program. This word is damned. Jester already shown her incapacity to really control this world, and even if she could, I doubt that it really would change anything. And that's where my theory come from. I think she knows that. And most importantly, she knows that there is no exit. Pomni, since episode 1 in the audio show, has been chasing a way out. With this power, you could believe that she would find it finally. But what I guess is that she did not. There is no exit. And that's what drove her to madness. Or maybe even worse and simpler than that. With the world corrupting and her being now connected to this world, the corruption is maybe just reaching her and making her psycho. The longest episode yet, and honestly that's an heavy one. The video starts with Annie running to a hidden room with a casserole. She's trying to cook something, and I think she lacks the ingredients right now. Wandering in the circus, she finds the of a cat, a digital cat, and it is full of worms. You all don't need to see that. Anyway, she took the cat and cooked it. The camera fades out, and now we are following Noble and Django, and they are in, I don't know, backroom level, man. They lost in the middle of nowhere, and they are in the middle of a dispute too. Django was basically following Null, even though she's been an asshole to her multiple times. That must be rage bait. Django, you're a grown woman. She's barraging Null with critics, and they both look having a mental breakdown. We then switch back to Annie, and it's revealed that she is making this dinner for Jack. He was supposed to be there already, so she is worried that she now hates her, she's having a mental breakdown too, implying that she is kind of obsessed with people's perception. I think that's the idea. In the OG show, she was already portrayed as some people pleaser, so I think that's the play on that. Anyway, she decides to find Jack by herself. Damn, I wonder what Jack is doing right now. After a bit of chasing, the chasing scene was cool, by the way, you should look, you watch that. He gets cuffed. They're now gonna play Russian roulette, it seems. I will have to skip a lot, because a lot of this is just exploration into cool environment though. Again, that's probably something that it is better to watch, but I hope you watched the OG video before coming here. Annie ends up sneaking on Jack and the jester. Crowner lost the Russian roulette. But to be fair, the game was rigged, as she revealed, and in the same breath claims that her and Jack are friends. Nigga, we don't know you, bro. But they are interrupted as the jester notice Annie is peeking. She has to face a 1v1 duel, London style, against herself. This is lucky really tough again. She gets the upper hand, it a crit, 3 black flash, but her blade gets stuck in the clone's body. It should be dead, honestly. So now she has to run. We continue with Jack finding Null, saving her from the back room or something. They are both unfamiliar with this area of the circus, which is weird. And also Null would rather not have Jack finding Jangle's body. I guess it's a bad look to kill one of your comrades, but you know, death doesn't exist. Jangle gonna respawn and sneak. We got one scene with Annie killing the virtual cat. I can't show that, you know, YouTube just be like that. But basically she wanted control. And we can't really blame her as she's just being mentally tortured by the Jester, like everybody here. And it's ironic that she's trying to make Annie look like a bad person, like it's quite literally the King Von gun violence joke. At the end, she's taking out the cross and respawn. This was surprisingly exhausting. That might be a good thing, but I'm not sure. Duffy Circus is genius. It's a lot of things. Beautiful in a aesthetic way, not really in the plot. That's kinda disturbing. But let me start. Duffy Circus is not scary, because that's not what they attempt to do. This is disturbing and heavy on like abuse, SH, and torture. I'm really sensible to this type of horror, mainly torture. It's probably because I've watched season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul way too young. That's a trauma. And when you're sensible to this type of stuff, this show is really disturbing, which is a good thing. But I get past through that now. And there's a few things in this show that I found weak. Let me say it right now, I think this is an entertaining show. And I think that it has a lot of potential. But as of right now, my main issue is that there is no goals. Let's also state this, because it's gonna be important. This show is heavily inspired by I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. In this book, the last remnants of humanity are getting tortured by M, a super robot, a war machine created by humanity. I mean, humanity, I'm pretty sure that is the US. But anyway, the objective of the group in the book is to find a way to something that Am don't want. He made them immortal to torture them till the end of time. This is a grim plot, but this is their last hope also. We watch them evolve and going through the pain, hoping to find their exit. This objective is important to the reader because it helps justify the suffering basically. And I think this is what this show lacks. It's like there's no goal and there's no future in sight as of now. Sorry, my throat hurt a little. What I'm saying is that since the truth, the plot hasn't moved yet. What they did in Oranophobia was really interesting when it comes to the backstory of one of the characters. But besides that, nothing really changed yet. Like we don't know what's next. The plot didn't move on yet. Like I already know that Jax and Pomni has an arrangement together. I already know that the relation between Null and Django is toxic. And yet we're still on that. I do think a solution and our goal will appear later, but as I insist, as of right now, it's just kind of weird to watch. Now this show also suffered the qualm of being an alternative universe. It lies in the characterization and it being different from the canon. I can't really hold that to Duffy if I'm being honest. This is the medium. But you can't stop yourself thinking that he will not fucking say that, he will not do that, he will like, you know. But honestly, it's only annoying with one character. I don't like the Jester. I really don't. And he being Pomni really makes me mad as fuck. Like, you're not tough, man. You're dead not tough. Some comparison with I Have No Mouth are gonna be made again. The robot really works well as a villain. He's honestly more cartoonishly evil than the Jester right there. But it works because of a few things. Firstly, his backstory is told at the start and is coherent. He's not justified, but just him being a war machine conscious for years while unable to feel anything, it makes sense that it led to that. The Jester on the other side doesn't have a backstory yet. And due to her being, well, Pomni, a lot of people would just impose this backstory onto her, which make her look like just an unjustifiable psychopath and kind of annoying. The second thing that Am got over her is competency. He's really like that. Am won against humanity. It took down humanity. On the other side, the Jester, well, it looks like she got her power out of luck. And she low-key sucks. So when you see her going on all those power trips, it kinda just looks silly. Like from a viewer point of view, and when you kinda know the backstory of CA and what this world is, she's not really a capable threat. She's more like some lucky jerk punching down on mentally unwell people is disturbing. And I think that's the point. Maybe having an antagonist pathetic so the fall is even more appreciated. Kinda like Homelander. Not even necessarily an ending where she gets beat up or anything, but maybe one where she realized that she is alone now. She seems to cling on Jack a lot. If we really are mirroring No Mouth, maybe Jack will stay and the other will abstract away. With the end of My Dollhouse, I do think that's the idea. But yeah, I hope the series will do more backstory and also more on the CA mystery. Like the first half of the Crowner episode was like, for me, the highlight of this show. Just not on the nose enough to like, when you understand it, you're like, oh wow. Anyway, to reiterate, my theory is that Kane, after No's remark, which led to the Jester rising into power and the Circus corrupting her, it is what turned her into a maniac, or it is maybe the lack of exit. But I noticed that at some point when she's torturing some character, there's like an exit door. Is that a real exit? It's never explained, but it's, I don't know. Anyway, as of right now, she's taking pleasure in torturing the cast. Now when it comes to what's gonna happen next, my theory is that by disobeying and upsetting the Jester, the cast will eventually abstract away, basically just due to her violence. Obey me and I will be there with you till the end of time, or I'd rather not. And she will be left alone or with a Jack that don't want to talk to her, kinda like the book, in a hell that she created herself. Or maybe it will go something completely different, but my theory is compelling, so just why not in there. Some people will probably say that I have been quite negative, but it's an horror show. Being disturbed is a good thing, at least it's a start, you know? But honestly, I found this show entertaining. I just hope that they don't go the route of just shock and violence for the sake of it. A lot of the criticism is a byproduct of it being an ongoing analog horror. And by the end, everything I said might and probably will age like milk. At least I hope so. This is aesthetically beautiful, full of references, and I didn't really talk about those redesigns, but I think they are fire, honestly. It's one of the most ambitious analog horror that I've seen in a minute, and it has a lot of potential to be like really great, even though it is like linked to tadc, so nowadays being linked to that will get you lashings. But really cool web show overall. The Jester is still lame as fuck, but you know it's The Circus, made by NikoNeko, it's a 4-episode show that I will put all in bulk. It starts with Zogel and Strangle having a discussion. It seemed that Zogel... Now that I'm saying those names out loud, I look like a fucking clown. It seems that Zogel doesn't have the ability to talk, so she's using the maximized listening method. On the other side, Strangle is unable to feel. I think it's a play on the original character, ripping away her ability to be emotional. And Zobel, well, I don't know, I guess in the OG show she talked a lot. I don't know. They are talking about a hymn. With this poster, I would guess that the antagonist is some sort of cat. Anyway, it seems like it is time. And that's where we meet Pomni. Again, all those redesigns are really fire. This show is just charming. She explains the situation. It's kind of funny how competent and fearless this alternate Pomni is. God, I hate that Jester. She finds the cat, which appeared to be Jack's. So Jack is the antagonist, okay. And Pomni is lucky clowning on that dude. He seems to be kind of incompetent himself, at least a bit stupid, but not devoid of power. In the meantime, Zogel meets the king, who is plotting to get rid of the cats. Later, Zoggle and Strangle reunite, and they need to go to Rag's room. The whole crew is having a meeting in there. So in this universe, Jax is kinda just like a more cruel Kane. He seems to be playing fair though, but as a god, I guess he could give more, like, I don't know, feelings, voice. Anyway, the crew is reunited and they have a plan to deactivate Ajax. But before that, Pomni needs to explain a weird phenomenon that happened. Nah, he got more right than the Jester. He got more right than the Jester. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ajax's plan is to kill them because they were getting too smart. That's Oralos, bro. Come on. I hate you, Nicholas. Oh my god, bro. Pomni explained that when Ajax erased her memory, in the same time he was synchronizing their code. I don't know if that's a tadc reference, but that looks like a nice pull to oh my god. But I guess, bro, I guess. And this distraction is the best time for King to reach for the PC and modify the code. And it's over. The evil clock has been defeated, and they got the ability to modify the character at will, to change, to be what they're trying to be. This was short and lighthearted. I needed that, honestly. There's another channel that I would like to mention. It's Someanimator, following the canon of Duffy. Duffy inspired both series, by the way, and so that's really cool, honestly. But yeah, this was the hour of the circus. Leave a like, or don't. Sub, unless you're from the tadc fandom. I don't want the smoke. WLARP, and that's it for me, bro. That's really it.
I wanna take you in my arms.